Greetings and welcome to the 1-6 Scale Man proudly presents Sunday Funday itself, Collectors Lounge International. Thank you guys for being here with us. I am your host, and this is going to be an incredible show today because we're going to do a rehash of everything that went down at Star Wars Celebration. Not everything, because there was a lot of nudity, and we can't do that because, again, we got to kind of keep it PG on the show. I don't know how we're going to fare well because we got a lot of X-rated information on here from a lot of people. Nah, I'm just playing with you. Now, we're not going to do that. Like, definitely, we're going to actually flash back to everything that happened during Celebration. We're just going to talk about some highs. And I think everybody was definitely on a high. It was incredible. I got the luck of the draw to win a t-shirt with my man Dan. I guess we were staying in the right space at the right time, and we both won a t-shirt, so we'll talk about that. And much more how Shane himself is a party animal. Y'all don't understand. It was like Shane unleashed at Star Wars Celebration. Shane was everywhere. Shane had a crowd of people on a platform at a train station saying this is his way. And I'm like, how you pulled that shit off? I don't know, but it is what it is. So glad to figure out how we do that and how he did it. But without further ado, let me bring everybody in here because we got an amazing panel with us today. How you doing, fellas? How's everybody going, man?
Hey, everybody. Very well.
Very well.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully. It's definitely happy Sunday. Ben, so glad to have you here, man, and showing off some of the merch that you actually, I see a couple people showing off some merch that they actually got from Celebration. I was going to do the same, but I was like, you know what? I just,
Max Rebo, baby.
There you go. There you go. Definitely, man. So glad to have you. Austin, what's going on with you, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good. First off, I'm a little jealous because I didn't get a t-shirt, but I'm happy you guys did. And I'm going to second. Okay, so I know I'm newer around here and whatnot. I'd follow Shane for a little bit. I've only seen portions of his live streams in just him in that capacity, right? And you nailed it. I was not expecting Shane to be as outgoing and so filled with energy. It was something. It was fun.
Nobody was. Okay. Taking Shane, the highlight for me was taking Shane to a hip-hop club, right? Him getting in the middle of the floor and doing push-ups.
Don't undersell it. They were clap push-ups. Don't you tell the audience they were normal push-ups. They were clap push-ups. Right? I can still feel it in my chest.
He did flip off Agent Silverfox at the end. That's how he kind of ended that little dance right there.
Because it was a battle between. Yeah,
it was a battle. You got to talk trash. You got to talk trash. He would have done
battle between Agent Silverfox and Shane in the middle of a circle. Like they were battling each other. Like it was like a full-fledged battle, and I was like, wow, incredible, off the chain, and you had to be there to see it. Somebody has video footage. Somebody definitely. Okay, so Austin has video footage. He has the video footage.
We'll be selling it off,
which will never be seen.
We'll be selling it off. Don't worry.
It hasn't
goes on tour.
It was on tour. It will never be leaked. We keep that.
I don't know. I think I saw it on TikTok. Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. TikTok.
I don't know if you were actually making a mistake there, or if that you were saying that purposely to make yourself look like a dad, but you did really well.
It was just titled "The Two Whitest Guys in the Room." That was the title.
That would probably sum it up. Yeah.
Yo, like Shane on the platform at the train station when he had a whole bunch of kids. He had a whole bunch of people saying this is the way. It felt like he was the Rock standing on the ropes going. I was like, yo, this is incredible, bro. I had never seen you like that before. That was insane, but definitely a lot to talk about. Dan, we had a great time at the live stage, bro. Like literally. Now, at the many celebrations that I've been to, I have never won a freaking t-shirt. I've never caught one. Never, bro. They always throw them out in the audience, and he throws them in the most obscene directions. Like he'll look at you, but he'll throw it that way. I'm like, come on, man. You were looking right at me. Just give me a damn shirt. But obviously, we were standing at the right place.
Like you are a very small man.
You just had to put that out there, bro.
Ben, you know what? I know it's not directed at me, but I take slight offense to that.
Did Dan lift you up to catch it?
No. I caught it fair and square, didn't I, bro?
You did. Yeah.
I caught it fair and square. I caught it one-handed because I had something else in my hand. So I caught it one-handed, tipped it around a little bit, but I caught it. Then a few seconds later, like what was it, a few minutes later, Dan?
A few minutes later, he threw it out again and I caught it and caught another one.
Yeah.
Really weird.
What
so
size were they, though? What size were they? Because I never...
Double extra large they were.
Oh,
which one was yours?
Well.
Mine was a double XL, so...
I don't know because I gave it to Toya. Like I know she wanted it. She was standing right there, so I just gave it to her. I don't know.
Are they limited?
A double XL on Toya is a 10.
Yeah, it is. You know what? She'll make it a dress.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a live stage T-shirt, wasn't it? Are they limited? Are they only limited to those, or can you get?
I don't know. I guess it is. I don't know, but they did that and they threw out those stickers too. Because remember, we got those stickers, so they did that. But we happened to be standing in the right space at the right time to get those. So
it wasn't too busy, was it, at that time? It was all right. It was loads. You could move around so much.
It was a lot of space at that point. Yeah. So it wasn't as packed as I thought it would be. Remember, I think it was like the first, because I think that day, hold up. Yeah, it was Saturday. So I think that morning we were waiting for Hayden Christensen. We thought that he was going to actually come out first. And he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, like the way
they didn't they?
Yeah, like I mean, he was, the plan was for him to come out first, but then they did make the announcement that things kind of got mixed around. So of course, he didn't come out. Then they had other people that came out, which it was still eventful. I still had fun.
It was the stage. There was an issue with the stage. He didn't like the high ground.
Nice. Nice. I see how you did that. I see that. Like, definitely. Too many.
Sorry, that was a burn.
Too many flashbacks. Too many flashbacks. But definitely, we had a great time. Triple G, man, how you doing, man? How's everything going today, bro?
Great. Thank you very much for inviting us. I've been a big fan of the show for a while, so over the moon to be here. So yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much. It's an honor to definitely have you here with us today, especially as we kind of recap on everything. It was definitely eventful, and you know what's crazy? And Austin, I don't know if you experienced this. So being in, I had no idea, and Dan, I should and Ben, I should have consulted with you guys more. I had no idea that in London you would experience 3 different seasons sometimes all at once. I had no idea. I wasn't prepped. I wasn't prepared for it.
Yep.
It was so cold on certain days. I was like, yo, this is unreal.
The Monday was horrible, wasn't it?
You nailed it. So like we would start off like, we'd have our jackets on because it was cold in the morning. It'll go from being like gloomy outside to kind of raining to sunny and raining. Now it's really warm. Now I'm sweating in my jacket, but I can't take it off because we're like 10 miles from the hotel. Then it starts raining when it's warm outside.
Yeah. Welcome to England.
It
sounds normal.
Yeah, it really is.
I smell my toes, man.
Yeah.
Man, like I didn't. And the thing is, like Toya, even with her, like she's prepped. She preps for everything. So she's like, look. This is she'll get like the 7-day forecast. Like she'll start getting the forecast earlier on, looking it up, everything, and just like, okay, it's going to be chilly. So we prep for it. We did pack, jackets and coats and stuff like that. But even then, I still wasn't prepared. Like I still was not prepared. Like even like this Sunday, the last day, it poured down raining. We got to the city. We got to Soho because she wanted to shop. Sun was out a little bit, but then it started pouring down raining again. It got warmer in certain spots, but then it got cold. I was like, will you make up your damn mind what you want to do?
There's
like,
no dressing appropriately because it's going to change in
no such thing.
Yeah.
No such thing. There's no and the thing is, we were even taking like an Uber home, like Uber back to the hotel a couple times, and the driver was like, oh, you don't understand. Like, this is the nicest it's been in London in a while. Like, he was like, this is the nicest it's been. Like, there were times when it was just cold, freezing cold, but this is the nicest it's actually been. I'm like, what? It's still cold.
I come from the north of England, so it was like a summer holiday for me.
Yeah. Are you for real?
Coming down,
and I'm
London.
from the far north, so it's like it's Game of Thrones territory where I am. It's the wall,
Yeah, they're savages where Peter.
Oh yeah,
wildlings.
Did you guys keep track of like your steps that you did each day? Because like Rachel kept track of ours. We averaged 12 miles a day. It was
wow. God damn.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the XL itself is about
a
mile long, maybe.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing though, did everyone get like convention come down? Because I was like gutted.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I only did 2 days, and I was saying to Leo, I had 4 days, and I had to get back. And Monday I was never doing anyway. Well, I say I was never doing, but when I had a family thing on the Sunday, and I actually thought I might go back on the Monday on my own, which is fine because I've been to conventions on my own before.
Yeah.
Because I was really like, oh God, I'm gutted. It's weird. It was weird. It's a really weird feeling for about 2 days. I had like a come down of like, I want to go back.
Depression, Dan. It's
It's called geek depression.
It is. What I mean? Like, I felt that way on the Monday because I knew that. All right, so the idea was to go early because I knew we had the Bad Batch panel. Also, it was my last day to get into the store. Because I got in the day before yesterday, but just sometimes you want to get in just to get like last minute items to take home for people, stuff like that. Didn't end up doing that. We got in the Bad Batch panel, and it must have been, now mind you, I had to remind myself that like the night before, like the past 2 nights we had gone out. We had gone out with the party animal Shane, and then the night before that, we had gone out with Spice to a Star Wars function, that they actually had. So we did that. And didn't know, like, going into Monday, which was the last day, and with the Bad Batch panel, I had no idea how tired we really, really were. And we're sitting down watching the panel, like we're watching. Now, mind you, we didn't get the live panel. We were in one of the rooms to watch the live panel.
I had that. Yeah, I had that.
I'm like, come on. But anyway, sitting there, I was kind of like sort of there because I was dozing off a little bit. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to worry about it because Toya has me. I know she's, she's paying attention to everything. I look at her and she's sitting up straight back, politely falling asleep. She was like this. And I'm like, yo, like, so then I was like, you know what? Ben hit me, and that's when Ben hit me up. He's like, yo, do you want to go half on the Hayden Christensen photo op? I was like, oh, hell yeah. He was like, well, you have to come now. So I was like, Toya, what do you think we should do? She's like, all right, let's go. So we just got up and left. Now, mind you, they were going to show footage for the next season of Bad Batch, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather go into it with a surprise and not really see any type of footage.
They didn't show much, to be honest.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll just, just leave out. We just left out and went to the actual photo op and did that. And we got in quick because he had the VIP line. Again, he had that VIP pass to get into everything. So he had the VIP line to get him to take the photo. Hayden was the nicest person in the world. Like him and Rosario, like, they were telling, because and people who actually Dan, you probably know how the situation is. Like, you take photos with him.
4 or 5, yeah. I didn't do Rosario, but I did Aiden. He was really nice.
So we did Hayden and we did Rosario, and when you're standing in line, they're telling you right then and there, don't touch him, don't hug him, don't give him anything. Don't touch him, don't hug him, don't give him anything. Don't touch him, don't hug him, don't get anything. We got in that line and we got up to see Rosario. It was sort of like, she was like, forget that. And she gave Toya a hug. She was complimenting her. She gave me a hug, and we just sit there and we just took a picture, and then we were at. Same thing for Hayden.
Yeah.
He, shook hands. He gave Ben a hug, and he was just the most polite person. Like,
but
so
we
I
had
guess
the same thing for Ewan McGregor as well, because we had a message the night before to say that you can't touch him, so he's going to have an R2 unit there, and he'd be holding a lightsaber. But a lot of people got refunds. And for me, it was like, wow, you've got R2 there. That's great. When you walked in, they said that, there's actually signs saying,
don't touch him,
due to filming commitments. Walked in and he gave us a hug.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Like,
and I was like, hey man, how you doing? And so we still had the space.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's really weird.
It didn't matter.
It's a great experience.
Yeah, it was definitely a good experience, and it didn't matter. Like they just still were so personable and opening and welcoming and stuff like that. So I definitely had a good time, taking those photos. Giancarlo, we got the signature from him first time. I did that for Renz Talentino because I got the signature for one of the portraits that he did. And you could tell that day he was just kind of tired. But the next day when we did the photo op with him, he was just up and laughing and joking around. I guess having like so many people at a time. But then we came in at a good time, so it was great. It was definitely a good experience. But you're right, man. Coming away from the event itself, it's like, damn, like I had so much fun. Like you just didn't want to actually step away from it because it was just so much fun. The only downside that I can actually say I had from it was the effing internet did not work at all. Zero connection. So if you're not surrounding people, if you're not around the people that you are looking for, if you find a lucky spot where the internet is working, do not move. Stand there, don't matter how long it takes.
That was the biggest negative about the entire thing, because I kind of went into it wanting to, take a lot, like do a lot more stories. I had a lot of people like via Instagram that I was chatting with, like at the start of the morning when I was at my hotel. Saying, hey, hope we run into each other. Let's talk once we actually get there. And sure enough, like both days was just awful.
Yeah,
I had to pay for a hot toy via PayPal, and it was the most stressful hour of my life. Like I like he was like, just run out. He was like, you're fine in the foyer bit, just run out and do it. So I like went out to the foyer and I couldn't really get it in the foyer, so I had to go back in. I was like, dude, like I can't even get to. And he was like, don't worry, I'll hold it for a couple of hours. And I eventually kind of was able to connect up to Wi-Fi somewhere and pay for it. And
that was the biggest hang up, was this main, and the only time that you really got it is when at the end of the day when people were leaving. Like if they were leaving a certain section and there wasn't many connections to the bandwidth at that point, then you can connect.
It was like living in Victorian times, I tell you. I don't know how we coped before.
My phone would go off and I'll start getting like messages from Instagram and I get excited because I pull out my phone, and then sure enough, as soon as I get the notifications and I try and like respond to something, no, gone.
Shane and I tried, honestly, it was like I was stalking you. It was just a message and a message. When you got them in the evening, you must have gone, oh my God. I'll just go, where are you now? Where are you now? Like that. Like, and then
I tried to phone you on like the regular, my data. And then I tried on WhatsApp. I think I might have tried on Instagram as well.
I did
sent
Facebook
a few smoke signals and everything.
Instagram,
carrier
WhatsApp.
pigeons.
Normal.
Nothing was working. Like
it's crazy.
And there's now a restraining order down against you.
Yeah. I was thinking that afterwards, thinking, oh my God.
Blocked. But then when we eventually we kind of said, right, we meet the TIE fighter. That TIE fighter was a godsend, really. Like,
and I was late.
Needed a reason to be. But
then I had found you right before that. I saw you and I started just yelling your name, trying to get your attention. I was like, I don't know if he even knows who I am, but I'm gonna say hi.
Oh no, it definitely did. It was because I was like, I knew I was gonna meet up with the crew, but when I went in, I was like, right, I'm just gonna walk around for an hour or two, find my bearings, see where things are, and then try to see where people are. So it actually was perfect. Then, like, when
was that the Friday, because you couldn't walk around on the Friday. It was that was my other moan.
The Friday was intense.
They was far too busy. It actually put me off. I said to Leo when on the second day, on the Friday, halfway through the day, because we just got in there and you don't know where everything is. I was going, if it's going to be like this, I'm not going to enjoy this at all. But
I don't know if we just hit unlucky, because myself, Shane, and Austin, we started wandering to get a drink, didn't we? And it was just a wall of people. People had just
time on a Friday.
Oh, what? It was horrendous.
Yeah. We normally, like I said, for us, because we kind of got this idea that with every celebration that we go through, especially if you can't get to the panels, just go to the live stage, because chances are the same people that were doing or at those panels will hit up the live stage. And I think that the live stage is just more intimate. It's better because of the simple fact that when you're sitting on the panel, you're sitting there for like an hour long, or maybe an hour and a half long, or however it's going to be, maybe 2 hours. you're sitting there, you're just waiting for things to flow through. Sometimes just sitting down an entire time can be, eventually it kind of dies down. You get boring, you get bored. But at the live stage, you're staying in there, you're with other individuals, you can talk, and while they're talking, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much going on at that time, in and out. Like, it's fast paced. They get them in for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then on to the next, and you can just move as you go, as you want. You know what I mean? So I think the live stage is a bit easier to kind of maneuver around. It just makes more sense. You know what I mean? So
the biggest problem with the Excel, because I've been going to that venue for Comic Cons, MCM Expo for the last sort of 12 years or so, and usually what you have is you have that the back of the center is pretty much open for people to come and go. There's lots of areas to kind of congregate, but because that was being completely re-landscaped, and it was like the whole thing was a building site at the back, towards Prince Regent, you couldn't do that. And then at the front, they limited people being able to. Usually, you can come and go freely at the front, but because they were like, no, you can only do the one-way system, you have to kind of come back round on yourself. I think it put people off from doing that. So as a result, there was kind of nowhere to go at the front or the back, so everyone just kind of used the middle. And
that's when it was congested with so many people, that were there. And even, I mean, I thought that I was going to have a worse experience even going to the bathroom if I had to, but I didn't have a bad experience doing that. Like, I was just in and out.
That's all right.
It's funny you mentioned that. I used, the restroom or the toilets there several times. Never had one issue. I didn't have to wait one time. I was so surprised every single time.
In and out. And you would think with that many people, like, you know what I mean, you would have, but nah, it was fine.
The other thing as well is that I didn't think they utilised the space. There was a massive hangar that was completely empty. Yeah. And I was like, especially on the Friday when I was going, oh my God, why couldn't they have put something in there just to bring people to other places? Because it was massive, wasn't it? It was not even used.
You know what's funny, Dan? So like Rachel, my girlfriend, she mentioned that as well. Between that and the large amount of space for like the food trucks, she's like, they could have done a lot more. We had a fun experience. Everything was fantastic. I don't know if I'd change anything. But she was like, they could have done a whole lot more. And she mentioned like have one section for the new game that's coming out and whatnot. She was surprised that wasn't even there.
There was no exhibitions, or because didn't they have the other one? They had the Mandalorian or Rogue One, like all the outfits and
they had
costumes and things like that.
And it was crazy because I was thinking about this, and I thought about this after I was talking to Toy. I was like, this was literally the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, but there wasn't really much focus on it.
No.
Yeah.
At all. Like, I thought about it. I was like, there wasn't really much focus. And I wondered if it was because now Harrison Ford wasn't there. We know that. Mark Hamill wasn't there either. You know what I mean? So there wasn't, Billy D was there, of course. Late great Peter Mayhew, Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. We know they, wouldn't have been a part of it either. So I guess, they can only focus in on so much, which I know they talked about the production. They had like a panel for that. They had, just a few other people that were there, but there was no immediate focus on it. Everything was on the whole Mandoverse, that Dave Filoni had actually created, and then some of the new movie announcements, and then behind the scenes on certain things. So there wasn't really a lot of initial focus on, Return of the Jedi, or even the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars, to be exact. They did have like the panel that came on for the 15th anniversary of it, but other than that, there was nothing.
There was nothing on that.
Yeah,
I don't think there was even a sign that said it while there.
Yeah, like it wasn't. And that's the thing is, like, I wouldn't take away from the experience, because I did have fun. And when you were talking about the food trucks, because I was like, that was interesting, because didn't they have food trucks on both sides?
Oh yeah, there's so many vendors there to get.
I thought the food was good. Actually,
yeah, the food was amazing.
Food was good.
I had the worst taco of my life.
I had a great burger.
I had a Lebanese sort of wrap thing. That was amazing.
Oh, they had everything. They had Indian, they had Lebanese. They had burgers, macaroni. They had everything.
Yeah, I got the tofu when I was there, so it was pretty good. Like I went in and got like that dish. I know they had Indian food. Toya was basically, happy about the the Lebanese food, the Indian food that was there. I'm sorry. So she got that. But I was just thinking, I was like, well, there were more trucks on one side than it was on the other. Why they could have actually condensed those vendors into one space and left that one room open for something else. You know what I mean? Like they could have definitely done something like that. It would have been really good, because even I was looking at like the space where you can do like code checks. I'm like, there was hardly anything back there. Like it was massive. Like, so that was space that could have been utilized. I mean, I guess they were wanting, or they probably anticipated, it being bigger than what it was, but it wasn't at all. Like it was still good though. It was still good. Don't get me wrong. I had a ball.
All of the niggles were completely outweighed by the spectacle and the,
I think my other main one as well on the Friday was, and I spoke to Leo again about this, is everyone was talking about that Lucasfilm panel. And like Daisy's a part of it, and like that. And I was like, where is it? Can we not have it on a screen somewhere?
Like to see it. I had to watch it on a replay.
So frustrating because everyone was going, "Oh, Daisy's turned up," and they just announced like the 25,000 years before, and there's a Filoni film, and I was like, and you couldn't watch it because there's no internet, because you were like on your phone going, wow.
And apparently even during the Ahsoka trailer presentation, they showed a lot more. There was a more extended trailer for them, because that's when you got a chance to see Thrawn. You got a chance to see that,
Peter got to see it on the Twin Suns.
Yeah, it was incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got,
and I was like you. It wasn't the live panel. It was people watching the panel.
Yeah, I did that, and we did
the feeling in the room was just amazing. As soon as every time anything happened, you could just feel it was palpable. The emotion. It was incredible. Did you guys get your badges checked much? Because I was quite surprised at how lax the were.
No. Once.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think it was the Sunday. It might have. I think it was actually no. It was the Saturday and the Sunday when we walked in. They just like when you went in, because they were doing bag checks. They were just like, no, go through. Just go through. Like go through the scan or whatever thing, and we did that. Even when we got in, because when we finally got in, we had to stand there for a bit for the line, but they hadn't checked badges. They were just letting people go. The Monday, they did the same thing. So Toya was like, you know what? It was, she was like, anybody who was off the street that had a friend that was there that told them, nah, just come in, show up, and just go through. They'll let you go. They could have did that. Well, that got debunked. Because when we were on our way in, once we got in, the one lady standing at the door was like, badges, please. We said, beep. I was like, yeah, that goes out the window all quick. Because if you'd have told somebody that, they would have showed up, they'd have been like, yo, I got let me.
But definitely the Friday, you could have got away with it. The Friday was
Friday, they didn't ask Rachel and I for badges the entire day. Now Saturday, I went earlier than she did, so I went the first half, and she was really tired from us going out the night before and whatnot, so she slept in a bit. But I went back to the hotel to go get her to make sure she didn't just like travel alone to the Excel Center. But when we came back, we were just walking through, and somebody yells at us, "Hey, where's your badges?"
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
I bought these damn things.
There was also probe droids flying about doing random scans. If you looked, I was like,
yo, was it? Hey, Austin, was it just me, or did it feel like it's the funniest shit? It felt like wherever I was or wherever we were that Shane wasn't, he would just appear out of nowhere. Like literally, it felt like this, bro. Like we were standing there, all of a sudden Shane was like.
So both days, both Friday and Saturday, I just stumbled upon him, and I felt like a creeper, especially the second day, because as soon as he walks in, I'm like right here just staring at him, because I was just taking like a little break before I left to go get Rachel, and I just chanced upon him. I was like,
it was perfect, because that morning, like, I just walked in on the second morning, and like I left it late. I went in about 11 and just walked straight in. I literally on the second morning on the day 2, the Saturday, I woke up and I saw a post on Facebook. It was at 6:50 a.m. The sun was rising, and it was someone taking a photo of the queue on the way in. It was just like wall to wall. I was like, that's just nope, not happening. So I went in at 11, just walked straight in. I'm in the door 2 minutes. Just ran into Austin. It's like, let's go get a coffee. So got a coffee, walked around for a while.
Fucking annoying.
Met up with the guys from OFAC, and then you went to meet Rachel, and I spent the day with the guys from OFAC, and then they left, and I was like, I wanted to look at around some of the stalls, and I was kind of like, looked around the stalls, going, yeah, I think I'm good for stalls now. And then you came around the corner, and I was like, this is just perfect. Yep. Well, I kind of done, and I was like, right, okay. Just started to get a bit lonely.
When Dan was like, "Yo, I can't find Shane," I was like, in my mind, I was like, "How can you not find? He's somewhere in here." Like,
because we were supposed to meet up at 1 o'clock by the TIE Fighter, but Dan's autograph was delayed.
Yeah,
and then we were kind of moving on. Then I was like, "Oh, we'll find him." That was a big mistake. You don't.
I went at 1:30. It was probably that bit where in the movies where you walk away and then I come behind and look around.
I wonder how many times we actually walked by each other. But I tried ringing you a few times and everything. I was just like, "No, this." I just gave up. Then I was like,
"I know."
Whether I tried data or Wi-Fi or Instagram or phone calls or WhatsApp, just wasn't happening. Like so. Yeah.
I came up with this thing. I was like, you know what? Next celebration, if we're all there and we're trying to find each other, I elect myself the one that wears a colorful beanie that you can look for. Oh. That's how you'll find me.
So the exact same as this year then.
Exactly.
Because I was walking to, the first day I was walking to the TIE Fighter, and then I was like, see all this crowd, and through the crowd I just see this beanie, and it's like,
that was it. That was it. I'm just gonna wear a colorful beanie, and that's how you find. Because that's how even like everybody was like, all right, if we see the beanie, we know he's basically going to be over there. So I was like, all right, I'll elect myself. I'll just basically do that all day. But then I think we found each other at the live stage, right? Or how did I find you, bro? I can't remember.
No, I found you because I saw your beanie. You were standing up at the light because everyone was sitting down, and I was looking for Shane because you said you were gonna. Do you remember you said, Shane, I'm in front of something by the tops?
Yeah.
Go,
well, I was in front. All right. So like there was. Oh no, that could have been a typo actually. But I was in front of Jazzware. And then we moved from Jazzware, and we were talking for a while in front of some. There was a big stand, and it said Tops. So I think it was the cards, you know.
Cards, cards.
So we were there for 20 minutes talking, like. But
I was walking
by the time
around.
you saw that, it was probably like an hour after.
With a rose, looking for someone. Do you know what I mean? I was looking. I was going, where is he? And then I saw Lael, like you were standing up. Yeah. And everyone was sitting down. I went, oh, there he is, like that. And I just went over.
Dan, I was standing up for a reason. Because I knew if I'd have sat my ass down, I wasn't getting back up. Like I knew it. My knees would not let me get back up. So I was like, you know what? I'm standing up and then on top of that, there was no space. You couldn't sit down like where I was. Because here's the thing, like if you're there with Calvin is moving further up. So he's moving further up. Every time somebody leaves, he moves further up because he wanted to see Rosario. He wanted to make sure he saw everybody. So I'm standing there. I knew I had to leave out because I had to get the signature from, or the signing from John Carlos. So I was like, I'll leave out and I'll come back. Coming back, I knew it was going to be a task getting through, but I forgot who I was with because Toya, she doesn't care. She navigates through the crowd like it's nothing. Excuse me. So I'm following her, grabbing on the back of her bag. While we were standing in line, though, we did meet Tyria. Now, anybody. Yeah, literally, he is the nicest person, like just so gentle, like such a gentle soul spirit. But it was funny because we were in line waiting to get to John Carlos. So we were moving. And as we were moving, Tyria comes past us. He's like, hey, Lael, nice to meet you, man. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to meet you, whatever. But, I know you were busy, whatever. Here. And then he just moved. He just handed us a bag. It had chocolates. It had those wafers. Man.
Oh, good.
Austin.
That was a good highlight.
Yo, and then when I showed Calvin started trying to look them up. He was like, yo, I can't find these things anywhere. So now that we know we have a connection with Tyria.
They do them everywhere here, and it's the little caramel
like
wafer things. Do them at Sainsbury's.
Oh, you fantastic.
I'll ship some over. No.
The next time we see Calvin streaming from the truck, it's because in the back he's got a massive few pallets of those things.
He got a pallet. He got a whole pallet of them, like straight up. Oh man, it was definitely amazing running into people, and I think the highlight for me was not just meeting up with everybody and all of us having a good time, but just like people who watch our streams, you know, who watch us, you know, live and stuff like that, who walk up to us and were like, hey, you know, I enjoy your streams, or it's one of my favorite streams, or hey, you guys, you know, you rock and stuff like that, and just getting photo ops and taking pictures of them. I was like, yo, it was such an amazing experience that we were all, and the beauty of like being at a celebration, Star Wars celebration, is that outside of it, you know that it's so divisive. You know what I mean? It's a divisive community when it comes to some of the IPs, things that actually come out. We already know that. But there, everybody's for the same cause, and they're rooting for everyone, and they're so excited to see everything that's actually going on. And it was such an amazing thing. You were talking earlier about the Daisy Ridley being announced that she was coming back. Bro, it was, and I said this because I was like, yo, excited about it. I was excited about the fan response. I mean, say what you will about the sequels. I mean, and even I have my personal gripes with the sequels. People know that. But for Daisy Ridley, and basically for the simple fact that I loved her character, there was a connection there with that character, and I thought that she did it well. She can only do what's given to her. Whatever's written, bad or good, she can only deliver it based on what's been given, the directions she's been given. But when they announced it, people were excited. We leave, and like once we come out, I'm looking on social media, and I looked on her page. I went to her page first to see if she had said anything. So she had a post that she did like maybe a few weeks ago. It was a post that she did for a fashion magazine. People had the audacity to go under that post and talk about their dismay and how they hated her as a character, and they don't watch she's back and she's ruining Star Wars and this, that, and the... Yo, I'm like, are you serious?
You know what though, Layout? Those are the people that have probably never been to a Star Wars convention or fan interaction in any shape or form. Like those are, yeah, they're not fans.
You know what? The sequel trilogy has its flaws for sure, but the thing is, I just can't imagine taking time out of my day to go and attack someone personally. You know,
that's because you're not a dick. Sorry.
That's so bizarre to me.
Yeah, it is. It was really bizarre. And the thing is, you know, keep in mind that she had left social media for a few years. You know what I mean? Because of that, you know, and I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, I hope this doesn't happen to her again. Like, I hope she doesn't have to go through this again, because it's so unfair. It is. It's so
for me, I think she's the personally, I was saying again, is that I actually watched The Force Awakens the other day and actually rebought Finn again from The Force Awakens this week. I got him for a really good deal. And I forgot how much I love that movie. I think it's my third favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I saw it 6 times in the cinema. 6 times. The feeling of seeing that film after the break of, you know, going back to the original. Yeah. And I thought Daisy Ridley is the best thing about the sequel trilogy. For me, I think
she was definitely
film, she is brilliant in.
It was her chemistry. It was the chemistry that she basically had with everyone else.
Yeah.
And even like, again, there was no sense of directions with the film, and I got that. Still, you know, with the films going forward, Force Awakens think about it. When Force Awakens was released, it was a movie that, you know, again, we hadn't seen a Star Wars film in so long. We have gotten the animated series. We saw everything with, you know, the lore, comics, books, stuff like that, graphic novels. But as far as a film, we hadn't got that in so long. So the impact that first film gave us, you know, The Force Awakens, Star Wars back on the main screen, seeing these characters, it was surreal. And I enjoyed it. Like, I'm like you, Dan. I've seen that thing in theaters so many times. It didn't pick it apart. I loved it.
It's still funny. It's a funny film, but not like, it's really weird. I can't, you know, of course the sequel trilogy has got its flaws. And I think a lot of people, we were talking about this week as well, not liking that the Mandoverse is trying to tie everything in.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to see the start of the First Order and Bad Batch and cloning and Snoke and all that, because obviously they're going to have to address Starkiller Base.
Yeah,
because that didn't happen overnight, you know. So
it didn't.
It's gonna, you know, it's. I love that they're all trying to tie it in together. If you know what I mean, I think it's just. But that's me, and I'm not one of those that screams and shouts. If you don't like it, don't like it. There are 9 other films to watch. And,
you know what, guys? I love content in general. If I don't actually like something, I just won't watch it going forward. It's not going to take away the experience for me with the other movies. Like, first and foremost, you know, I'm like a big horror movie fan, right? And in these movies, in these genres, there's a lot of shitty sequels. A lot of
Oh, mate, well, I'm a Halloween fan. Look, I've got my Myers.
Oh, I got all my Myers right here.
Yeah.
So even with that, like with
Halloween Kills,
with Resurrection, with Resurrection, right?
Yeah.
Not a great movie, but man, I watch them because some of them have some essence of fun to them. Yeah. I'm glad you like The Force Awakens because I really like The Force Awakens, and that seems to be not a very popular opinion. I remember going and waiting in the line. I was there for 4 hours, and it was so much fun. We were the second group in line. The group in front of us, we played quiz games for the entire time. Watched the movie. The movie was like an Infinity War Endgame kind of thing. The crowd laughed at the right times. They clapped at the right times. Atmosphere was fantastic. I left it happy. Granted, I didn't take it for sure. It's not perfect, but I was very happy with it.
Yeah, and that's the
I
thing.
had the best day for Force Awakens. I was in the crowd for the London premiere, the red carpet.
Wow!
And I didn't get. I saw everyone obviously, but I didn't. Not many. Well, only one person came over to our section of the crowd, and it was John Boyega. So I got to meet John, and I got a little signature and had a little moment with him. I think I said, "John, you're the man," and he went, "Thanks." And it was really awkward.
Tumbleweed.
I was running off adrenaline, and I just went, "You're the man, John." Oh. Weirdest thing I've ever said to anyone else.
So you went full fangirl.
I'm gonna throw out one more thing. Because the sentiment of the sequel trilogy isn't great, it makes it where collectors like me can purchase those figures, you know, relatively cheaper.
Austin, I got a Finn for 130 quid this week.
I got Finn for $100. I got my first troopers for $80 each. I got one of them for 80 shipped. The other was like 100 total.
Yeah.
Oh,
bro, it was the Riot Trooper, the Riot Trooper and Finn pack.
Yeah.
I think basically it was going on a certain site for like I think 180 shipped. Like, and that was the both of them. You know what I mean? So you can find deals for those now. Now here's the thing though, because this is crazy. Ever since Mando episode 7 this past week dropped, those Praetorian guards have gone up.
I had them as well, but they've always been quite expensive.
Yeah,
because they didn't make many. They didn't make many of them, and they're really. Have you got them, Leo?
I got 2 of them. Yeah,
they are amazing. I had 2 and sold them like I normally do.
Yeah,
but
I have 2.
They are really good next to Kylo. You know, really like empowering sort of figures.
There. Yeah, they're simply and we know that, you know, even with this last episode, spoiler alert for people who didn't see it, but if you didn't see it by now, is it really a spoiler? Because you should have seen it unless you're waiting for the entire season to end to binge it.
Who does that?
Saw it. Who you know what I mean? Who does it? But I mean, literally, if you saw this past episode, which I kind of wanted to jump into as well, just briefly, not really talk about it, but I want to go into like predictions territory in a sense. Not really talking about too much, but if you saw this last episode, those Praetorian guards, the helmet design was a Mandalorian helmet design for those you know that version. Pretty good. Paz Vizsla, I mean, went out like a G. I mean, that was one of the dopest scenes I've seen ever. You know, it was incredible. But with those Praetorian guards, it's no doubt they're going to the Praetorian guards and also the jet troopers in the Beskar. We're going to definitely see a lot of that, you know, going forward. And
Gideon 2.0 as well. That's going to happen.
Yeah,
Grogu, IG-12, which I'll definitely get.
Guaranteed.
I don't want to cut you off too much, but I'm sure all of you guys are the same. When I'm watching something now, being a collector, as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, reissue 2.0. I want that character. They
crying how much money it's going to cost.
Oh, man. As I'm watching it, all that's going through my head.
I know.
I'm like, that's going to be in the collection. I need this. I want
this. I think this year, up until this point, this episode, what was there going to be from the figures? Because there's no new Mando, because he's not any different unless they do a die cast, I suppose. Which what else was there going to be? New Bo-Katan with
the
new
only
hair.
thing up until that episode, the only thing that was kind of something they probably should have done was a Grief Karga, and now that he's in the fancy robes, it'd be a bit more of a nicer figure. It's not a figure I pick up myself, but I can kind of go, yeah, they probably should have met him already. Or the obvious one is the Bo-Katan with slightly different hair and new head sculpts, and
the pirate,
and now
captain.
Technically a Darksaber.
I would take a Gorian Shard all day long.
Yeah,
just like sat there with a little chair and his stick.
So they haven't really done anything yet, right? So we haven't seen any figures released from this season yet, have we?
No. But we haven't got an Andor. Where's Andor?
Nothing. No Andor, nothing. Like we haven't definitely got anything from, and especially knowing that, speaking of which, how dope was that when Andy Serkis came out on stage, you had the crowd that was going around saying one way out, one way out. Like that was phenomenal. But they haven't done anything yet. We haven't gotten an Andor figure yet. We haven't gotten anything from this season of The Mandalorian. So I don't know if they're just basically waiting or if there's some special surprises that they wanted us to wait on. But I was sure that we would have got something in the very beginning. You know what I mean? But in the defense, though, when I'm looking at it, like you said, like right now, aside from a Grief Karga, what else would we have gotten up until now? Up until this episode that we've just seen, what else would we have actually gotten? I mean, a 2.0 on Bo-Katan, maybe. The only other thing that I could have seen that I know Mario's happy about right now is that we didn't get the N1 Starfighter with so that didn't drop yet, so he's in a safe position as of right now, so that hasn't dropped. But anything else, it's not really, it's like kind of like tumbleweeds right now. We don't know what's going on or what they're going to actually release. Now I know for a fact that after this past episode we will definitely get a Moff Gideon and Beskar armor. That's a no-brainer. That's going to definitely happen. It's going to happen. We're going to get those jet troopers and we're going to get the Praetorian guards. But I know it just depends. What do you guys think?
Wait, did you guys like Moff Gideon in that armor? Because I saw some negative things like on Facebook, of course. I loved it. I thought he looked awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very is it the Death Watch Staff Maul's group, with the horns on the top, and there's an interesting theory going around the armorer's helmet, and
it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to talking about spies and everything, aren't they? And
I've never fucking trusted her. She's so like, you know what I mean? She just like, this is the way. Like, well, no, give me more. Than like, why is it the way? Like, and I don't trust her.
You know what I didn't think about though, and it dawned on me. I just thought about this today because I was because I know now. Here's the thing. I know it's going to be heartbreaking for Toya if it comes out that the armor is a spy and that it's gonna break Toya's heart. I'm just letting you know that right now because she loves that character. But what kind of like sort of like leans me towards that way is because remember, during the Book of Boba Fett, she melted down one of the only piece of weaponry that was a threat to the Mandalorians, which was the Beskar spear, because she said they're not allowed to carry around armor that would actually could harm one of their own. So she melted down the Beskar, but then actually changed it into like chain melts for Grogu. That was it. So I was thinking about that. Like she melted down one of the piece of weaponry that, again, could have been like the tide that, that it kind of changed the tide a bit. And I was like, damn, well, maybe she is getting rid of any possibility of safety but why though? Like, why would she be that threat? Like, why would she turn cold? It just depends on the character and who's under the helmet.
But that's the thing, we don't know anything about her. Like, she's not shown any character, so to speak. You know, there's been no
maybe on purpose
layers or texture. Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's what's making me, you know.
Plus, Gideon now has Beskar armor, and all his stormtroopers now have Beskar armor. Who made their armor?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are they all?
Yeah.
Did the Empire have, or sorry, Gideon, whatever you want to call them, the Gideon gang, the G gang? Do they have their own armor?
Like
do they have their own armor there? Who's like capable of skillfully making?
They're knockoffs. They got it from Wish.com.
Didn't they say that they're gonna? I've seen that they might try and sort of tie it into Darth Maul as the Death Watch, and they're all past Death Watch.
But the horns on the helmet, that ties into Clone Wars because he ruled Mandalore and had the dark saber.
That's what I mean. I think they might. It might be something. But the only problem with something like that, and I think it's going to be the same with Ahsoka, is if people don't know who these characters are and what Darth Maul did, or especially talking about Ahsoka with the Rebels stuff, isn't it going to alienate a lot of the sort of normal people that have never seen
Rebels?
But couldn't you say that about any MCU film now? Imagine some couple going on the first date. We'll just go see this Marvel's film.
Well, I class
research to do. Yeah, there's about 40 films.
I mean, I class myself as a bit of a normie because I haven't gone into all of the background and all the rest of it. But that doesn't stop us enjoying what I'm seeing. If that makes sense.
I think they will make it do it, won't they? They'll make it.
My only thing is, I think you're right. Ben's been saying this for weeks about the armor being dodgy. It feels a bit too obvious. It feels a bit too telegraphed to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love
people are saying Axe Woves is the other spy, but
that's too obvious.
Axe Woves he's so like. It's there's no stakes if he's the spy. It's just like, no one really liked him anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Anyway, the other one, you know, he's hardly.
I got to step away for a minute or two.
Katana would be a good twist.
No, they better not do that. They better not do that. I would be so pissed if they did that. That would be a huge twist.
The thing we forget with Bo is she ultimately, was a terrorist against her sister who wanted to rule Mandalore as a pacifist. Like that, she was not a good guy, originally, back in the day. So
we just recently saw that turn, but again, we are seeing a shift in her, and I think going down to the Wells of Mandalore was one of the things that she needed to see, and watching Din Djarin's devotion to it. Now, another thing that I'm hearing online, and I don't know if I want to debunk it myself, but I just want people to just wait and see, because there's this whole thing now. They're going to get rid of Pedro Pascal. They're going to get rid of the Mando. They're going to get rid of, and it's going to be terrible if they do that. Why are they going to kill him off? We don't know that, and I don't think that they're that stupid to do something. There's a movie coming of that magnitude. Yeah, like I don't think that they're that dumb, especially all of a sudden already. With Jon Favreau already saying that he already has season 4 written. Like they've already written season 4. They already know where they're going with season 4. I don't think that, there's going to be any type of opportunity to kill him off. I really don't.
This is their bread and butter. Like we can't ignore that fact. Grogu, Mando, this is Disney Star Wars bread and butter. Right.
I could see him being out of action for some time though. Maybe he stays captive, for half a season or a season.
But hasn't he done that already this season? He's not really been in it this season. It's mostly been a Bo-Katan show.
He's been there,
which is not a bad. Yeah, he's been there, and I don't find that's not a bad thing. I mean, a lot of people are moaning and all that, but I don't
get that, bro. Because the thing is, here's the thing, bro. Like Clan Kreese, I knew that there needed to be a redemption story with that, and I'm so on board with that redemption story because there needs to be a level of, okay, now that we can bring in the emergence of all clans, and you're realizing that the divisiveness of those clans is what kept Mandalore the way it was. to have them merged together is more of a force to be reckoned with. And that's the, again, that was the plan from Moff Gideon all along, was to keep them separate, so that it was easy to conquer. So now that we see that, especially knowing that we have a threat coming in the form of Grand Admiral Thrawn, you're going to need like everything you can get to kind of bypass this right now. So I don't think, in my opinion, like I love, now look, has the season been 100%? No, there's been some misses. There's been some opportunities that they could have actually taken that they didn't. But I don't think it's just a disaster that everybody is making it out to be. I'm like, what are you watching that I'm not? Like, maybe
Leo,
just
you know what I think it is? And I think it's people in general. I think people have these specific expectations that they want, and when people do not get that, they are just immediately either hurt or upset or like offended that like what they envisioned isn't exactly happening, and it's hard to enjoy what is going on when you're in that mindset. Like you said, this hasn't been perfect. The season for me at least has been perfect.
Yeah.
Individually though, I think each episode has been good. It's not how I thought the main storyline would progress, but this latest episode really did kind of tie it all in a lot better for me this season.
Yeah.
I don't think the standard is as good, to be honest. Like
the writing doesn't seem as good, does it? It doesn't.
I think the first two seasons the standard was very high, and I don't think it's because of expectation that the reason I don't like not that I don't like the current season. It hasn't entertained me in the same way the season 1 and 2 has. The way I envision season 1 and 2, if the overriding arc of the Mandalorian story is like a semicircle, so you have the start, you have the finish. He comes along and he goes on these side quests which jag in and out. But they are, like, imagine like a triangle that leaves the arc but always comes back. So he goes on a side quest, comes back to the main arc, and it progresses the story. I felt like it was like that in season 1 and that in season 2. So yeah, he went on a side quest, but they were fun, they were entertaining. And at the end of the day, it progressed the story on just a little bit, whereas I felt that this one, I had no idea what was going on, really. I didn't get any sort of clarity until maybe last week when I kind of knew. But if you are a supporter of a football team or a soccer team, an ice hockey team, a basketball team, you're a diehard fan of some soccer, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. And that team have a few bad games. Do you jump ship then? Because you're a shit fan if you do.
Exactly.
You know, you're not a real good supporter. If, like,
that was my point. Yeah.
Like,
I changed from Liverpool to Manchester United.
That's the thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a fair weather soccer fan, a fair weather Manchester United fan, but United have had a bad few seasons. You know what I mean? But like, you still go, yeah, you're still a fan. Like, so personally, like, I don't think it was my expectation. It's not like I went personally, like, I get what you're saying, Austin, but for me, it wasn't like, I want them to do this, this, and this, otherwise it's not good. I just don't think the writing is as good as the first two seasons.
I
and I went back and watched the first two seasons over the last 2 weeks, and I was like, every single episode, I was like, this is so good. Whereas this season, the Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd episode, it wasn't because they were in it I didn't like it. I don't care about Jack Black. Well, okay, I like Jack Black. I think he's a legend. Like, Christopher Lloyd's a legend.
Yeah.
And I don't know Lizzo's music or anything, but it wasn't because they were in it and made it a bad episode. It was like, for me, that was the most notable thing about the episode, personally. So I think the writing could be a bit better, but fans are fickle, unfortunately. Whereas I'm like, okay, it's not 100%, but it's still maybe 3 stars out of 5. The last episode was really, really good. I'm curious to see where they're going. If the last episode's a banger, it could go, okay, there's a few soft episodes in there, but like, it still has me looking forward. The show gave me so much joy from season 1 and 2, and I'm not about to go, all right, let's do a flip-flop now and move on to the next thing.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, the first 2 seasons had a very clear objective for Mando. It was like, get Grogu to safety. You know, that was always the main objective. And he had a very clear villain who was trying to stop him, whether it be the Empire or Gideon or whatever.
Yeah.
This season has lacked a clear objective and a clear villain. So we've had this rough objective of like retaking Mandalore, I guess, but you're not sure if it's him or Bo who's choosing to do that, and you're not really sure where it's all going. He needs to redeem himself, but that all felt very
I thought that would be the whole season, the redeeming. You know, like I thought it would be side quests. Like you say, the first episode was IG-11, I need a droid. I thought he'd have to go and get a part on a planet and then come back, and then that would be episode 1, and then but it was over into, which is not.
Turns out Grogu is the part.
Yeah,
One thing I did find a bit disappointing is that, like, okay, like the Book of Boba Fett was less about Book of Boba Fett and more about the Mandalorian by the end of things. And the Mandalorian is less about the Mandalorian and more about Boba Fett, but it's just more about Bo-Katan, and like it's I'm wondering like whose show is it? I've heard the theories that the Mandalorian can be anyone. The Mandalorian could be Grogu. The Mandalorian could be Bo-Katan. We're just lucky that Bo-Katan is a strong enough character that it's not lacking in that sense.
I think they're building worlds. I think they're doing an MCU sort of thing where they're going to intertwine everything, and it's all becoming. You know,
they laid out the new timeline, didn't they?
Yeah. So I think it's all going to like with Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka, and it's all starting to. We're seeing like an Infinity Gauntlet sort of thing where we're all starting to go up and down. I think that's.
I wouldn't be so quick to give up, and I think everyone in the panel here. We realised that the writing, or there's been a few misses, and the standard maybe isn't as good as the first two, but like. Just jumping ship so easily. It's like depends which way the wind blows. That's
I'm not an Uber fan. But what I would say is, I think it's had some misses. I loved the last episode, but I'm still there 8 o'clock, 8:30 every Wednesday, desperate to switch it on and see what's happening next.
Well,
you know what I mean? So it's still keeping us coming back.
Well, I think there's a couple differences. So like. Objective criticism to say, hey, I actually didn't like this, or this took me out of it, or like I didn't really see the point of this episode because it didn't accomplish anything driving the main storyline forward. I think all that's fine. Everybody should have that, right? Now,
100%.
Hate just for hate, or to be fair, I didn't even recognize it was Lizzo in that one episode, so that did nothing negative for me whatsoever. It didn't affect me one bit. I was fine with it.
Yeah,
but hate for the fact of hating the show or the episode for that one particular person, that just seems kind of odd to me.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just hate for the sake of hating something or being upset about.
But you know what, Austin? If that episode had been an absolute banger, it wouldn't have mattered who cameoed. It would have been an afterthought. Okay. Whereas because the episode was a weak episode, it was the only episode of Mandalorian I ever watched, which I was like, that wasn't a great episode. Because the writing was weak on it, personally, and the main things that stood out then were the cameos. I thought that's the difference. But you still don't go. They turned, the Star Wars Instagram, they posted a few, like the photos of the characters, Christopher Lloyd's character, Jack Black, and Lizzo. They turned the comments off.
Yeah.
Because I knew what they were going to get.
Earlier, Daisy, that's why, because it would just be idiots just constantly.
Austin said it best. Earlier on, he said he's not going to take time out of his day to go and type some negative comment or hate on something. There's a difference between constructive criticism and just a hate brigade. I've never disliked a YouTube video ever. I've just never done it because it's like no reason. I look at it and go, I didn't particularly.
It's that person's interpretation, regardless if it's their interpretation, regardless if you like it or not. I don't spend my time typing a long dissertation on anybody's post because that's their feelings. That I can just scroll away from it and find something totally different or say something on my own. I don't have to take time out of my day to just be discretionary or just be, just come out and, say whatever I need on someone else's post that has nothing to really do with me. That's your opinion. You can actually have it. I know what the creator himself, George Lucas, where he was going with majority of these IPs. I know where they're basically following suit. Look, you're not going to get it. Look, you already know that you're not going to get an Academy Award winning script when it comes to this universe because they're tailoring it a certain way. We understand that. There's going to be some hits and misses, but like you said, Shane, you're not going to jump ship just because. In every IP, there's going to be in Marvel.
I actually thought Andor was award-winning material.
Andor was incredible.
Where did that come out of?
Killed that. But here's where double-edged sword comes in too, as well. It was incredible. And people who have watched the Andor are looking at the writing on that show and how consistent it was from the beginning till end. So when you see that and you go into an episode or you go into a few episodes like Mando you're seeing something that's completely different. I learned to separate the two because I know where they were going. Where they were going when Andor was a continuation of what we actually got from Rogue One. So that's to be expected. With Mando, it's a totally different universe. It's something that they're building up based on the lore, Clone Wars, stuff like that. So I don't expect it to be on that caliber. But I've learned how to separate the two, but I can still see the bigger picture and where it's going. We're getting the past and how that past affects the future. People have to really, really understand that. But no, we're seeing a lot of people pick apart things. They're finding reason. And on top of that, we're seeing a lot of he said, she said, or monkey see, monkey do type of situations because this person doesn't like it. I'm going to jump on his bandwagon and repeat the same thing that he said. I can't be original. I can't say what I feel. I'm going to basically back this person up and say, yeah, what that person said. And you probably didn't even see the damn show. That's why I'm like, you know what? Come on, man. Like, literally think for yourself. If you don't like it, then I can respect you for not liking it. But don't jump in and give me a long-ass dissertation. And then when you're doing it, which I don't like, and I've seen this, not calling out any names, but when you basically call Lizzo a hut, that to me is insulting. That's insulting. When you're insulting a person's character and the actress themselves, that is insulting. What they did to Moses Ingram was insulting. Yes, you may not have liked Obi-Wan, but what you did to that character was insulting. These people have lives. They have families that support them and watch them. They have fans who watch them. You don't have to be as insulting as you have been. And I don't really like that. And I don't think that that sits well with me as a fan, but you can have your opinions, but do it constructive. Not, and like I said, this entire season, yes, there was some writing flaws. It might have been some writing things and that they could have tweaked and did a bit better. But all in all, I am enjoying the ride. I am enjoying Bo-Katan's story. Din Djarin, he's basically a support. As there's a lot of people that want to even see them together. I'm like, I'm not there yet, but I'm like,
just
yo,
metal clanging against
just clanging, right?
I don't need a love interest in every single thing.
No,
especially for these two independent people. Yeah, so just to create some dialogue, do you guys think this season, because they're trying to clean up the sequel trilogy, more specifically the Rise of Skywalker, do you think that had an effect on the writing or the feel of this season? Or do you just think that it still has nothing to do with it?
No, I think if anything, the Rise of Skywalker stuff, it's kind of it's being drip fed in the background, and all it's doing is adding texture to the sequel.
What I was saying before about the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, they're trying to connect them.
They're trying to strengthen episode 9.
That base.
So I don't mind that. I just think that I'll tell you what, it would be interesting because obviously with what we were talking about before with the sequel trilogy, they didn't have a plan. You know, the directors wrote. I'm wondering, have Filoni got a plan for the Mandalorian? Like with this spy, do you think they knew if it is the armor, I'm just saying, knew it was the spy that by season 3 it would all do it, or do you think
no, I reckon they've gone full MCU, you know, because Favreau's obviously
do you think so? Do you think they know where it's
going
as
well, and I think they've met and they've gone, right, 20 years, let's map it out.
I want to imagine this is all pre-planned.
I hope so.
And they've learned from the mistakes of the sequel trilogy. That's what I hope, right?
I think even with Abrams taking his stance of like, I don't want a plan, I want to kind of tell the fluid storytelling technique. Like, I think that did create quite an exciting environment in the sense that, like, you know, The Last Jedi did some really, as I know it upset a lot of people, but it was ballsy and it was brave, some of those decisions. I don't know. I quite like the risks that were taken. If anything, I just wish they committed to it, doubled down, rather than kind of go back on a lot of stuff with Rise of Skywalker.
But they listened to their fans for that, though, didn't they?
They bottled it, It's like you mentioned Halloween earlier. Like Halloween Kills is a prime example. Very unpopular, the whole Corey
I hate
thing,
it,
you know?
and I shouldn't.
But if they had committed to it,
Yeah.
And if they had said, right, he is now Michael, that would have been a lot more interesting than what happened, which is them just going back on it.
And that was a film, you know, obviously we're talking about that, but that was a film I love. It actually mirrors it a little while. I loved Halloween 2018. Love it.
Yeah.
It's like The Force Awakens in a way. It was like that. And then the second one was a little bit okay. The third one, I hated Halloween Kills. I hate Ends. I hated it, but because I think you're right, they didn't. If they'd made it out that he was going to be the next thing, it was just a bit. Anyway, I'm just going.
Halloween tangent.
I'm gonna get past this, but I just want to touch on what Dan said. I loved 2018. That is a top 3 Halloween movie for me. I didn't necessarily like Kills. There's some independent scenes in it that I think are great.
Yeah.
Halloween Ends. That's I objectively I don't think I like it, but if it was an independent movie within Halloween, independent movie within Halloween and not the ending of this particular timeline, I would think it's a fantastic movie. It just didn't fit the finale.
Yeah, agreed.
And I want to say something there because I just saw this real quick here. Toys News Daily. I don't hate Lizzo. I just think that fame shouldn't give you a free pass. First should be acting ability, and I can name 100 actors of all variety deserve the role more than she did. That's a matter of opinion, though, bro. That's a matter of opinion.
Our decision to make. It's the casting decision.
Exactly. It's not our decision to make. We can basically imagine that, but the casting directors and the people who are writing this film and directing, they have a vision. So this is why they selected her to play the role. And I don't think she was horrible. I'm sorry.
I thought she played it well.
She played it well.
Noble. Kind of.
I don't think she was horrible.
Kind-hearted. I thought she played it well.
I messaged Ben afterwards because I watched that episode. Now I hold my hands up. I know who Jack Black is. I love him. I thought she was just an actress. I didn't realize she was a guest star. And Ben had to message and say, well, it's Lizzo. And I was like, oh, that's nice. It was that.
I'm always teaching my granddad.
So I thought she did a great job. I thought she was just as good as any of the other actors in that.
So for me, I thought she matched Jack Black's eccentric king queen kind of thing, like that royalty. I felt like it felt more like a prequel kind of vibe for me, and I was kind of there for it. And once again, I didn't know it was Lizzo, so I didn't think anything of that whatsoever. Maybe I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for Toys News Day, maybe some other people about this. I do know people do get upset when like A-list people do come in and you don't really see that character. You see, oh, that's
that
Jack
person.
So but I think people need to articulate it quite a bit better than attacking, saying like Lizzo, the Hut or whatever. That's different. If someone comes out and says, hey, you know what? I don't necessarily want Tom Cruise in Star Wars because I don't want to see Tom Cruise. I just want to see the certain character.
And that's completely understandable because you don't want the star to overrule the character. You don't want basically a star to overrule the lore. And I get that.
Plus, let's be honest, he's going to out X-Wing anyone in an X-Wing.
I also think that if the episode was episode 3 of The Mandalorian instead of episode 6, I would have gone, well, that was all right, that episode, but we know we've got 7 more to go, whatever. With the 3 more, the third to last episode, that was for me not the greatest.
Sorry. Do you know what I think my main issue is? This happens so often. I think Marvel are doing it. I think anyone making money does this. They have a good thing, and they're instead of going, let's do 3 high quality seasons and make them all bangers. They get a season or 2 behind their belts, and they're like, how do we slow this down and string it out for 10 seasons? Unfortunately, I think that's what may be happening. I hope I am wrong. But it seems like a lot of the highlights of this season could have been well paced into maybe 4 or 5 episodes, maybe a bit less even. You could have cut a lot and still had it nice and flow and still told the same story. And the episode we got, episode 7, could have been like episode 3 or 4, and we've been like, oh god, this is so good. Like, if they just trim the fat or something like that on a bit of it.
I think that's fair. We waited 2 years for this, so
3.
3, 3, I guess, 3.
Now,
I'm terrible though. I always find, even in weak, Star Wars, whether it be sequels, prequels, Mando episodes. Like, there's always something that brings me joy in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
so that Lizzo
exactly.
episode, it was the battle droids. It was
You
hearing
saw those
bloody Roger
Ancillions.
again. You know,
You saw squeezy, no squeezy, and you were just in your element.
Yeah, you know, like I'm just waiting for Jackson to turn up and then put a pin in me.
And
they're going to do a 1-to-1 Barbara Frick.
I'm glad you said that, Ben, because basically I found a way, you know, even with, look, I found a way in Rise of Skywalker. There's certain things in there that I like. There's elements from there that I took away from that film that I'm like, okay, I like certain things from it. There's certain elements even from, you know, The Last Jedi, that I, you know, what they did with Luke, I'm like, that took me completely out of it. I mean, that's just my opinion, because I'm like, you know, you don't tell that particular story without giving us substance or a decent backstory, not just flashbacks, but I want to see something more fleshed out as the reason why, because you're not explaining it well. But I still found reason that throne room scene was some amazing choreography.
Yes.
I loved what I actually seen, despite the one scene that the editor choice was terrible on. Besides that, I love the throne room scene. There were certain things that I take away from that movie that I thought was real good. Even the dialogue between both Rey and Luke, you know, some of the things that they talked about, you know, and I enjoyed it. So I, like Ben, I 100% agree. You find things from these IPs, things that when people just, you know, that there's things that you may not like, you find reasons in it to kind of gravitate to it and say, you know what, I love this. I can take away from it what I do. And, you know, despite what everybody else says, I'm just going to enjoy it. And that's
one thing I was going to say about the sequel thing, apart from probably John Boyega not getting a good story arc by the end, because I think he deserved it. And I really hope he comes back at some stage, which I don't know if he will.
Yes,
it's the waste of Captain Phasma.
Yeah.
Because in all of the, if you look at the Force Awakens, you remember the Force Awakens? It was Kylo Ren and Captain Phasma everywhere. And then they didn't do a lot with her in the first movie. What a figure, man.
Dan, did you hear her speak at Celebration? It was one of the most inspiring things.
Oh, really? I didn't. What did she say?
I heard over the Celebration weekend. She just kind of gave this beautiful kind of speech about Phasma and sort of how women are portrayed on film and power and sexuality, and it was just it was incredible. Like I definitely recommend anyone go find it.
I think we're going to see her again.
After this weekend, I was like, give her a bloody film. After that speech,
I think we're going to see it again.
Filoni,
do you think so? Like, do you think we'll see her again?
I think we're going to actually, because they are what they are doing basically right now is they're harkening back to, and we're seeing a lot more of the, you know, the sequel tones in Mando. I think we're going to see her again. I really think, and I think we're going to see her as a badass as we wanted to see. Because again, if they can actually give us a redemption story on Luke the way we want it, they can do the same thing with a lot of these characters, you know, that were intricate, you know, with the sequel trilogy. And you're right, Ben. I watched that entire, you know, that conversation that they had with her. She was so insightful, you know, put so much heart and spirit in that character. And I love Phasma, even despite the simple fact that, you know, she had like a short stint in the sequel, which I was like, why would you bring, bro? I remember watching the trailer.
Yeah.
When we watched the trailer, when I watched the trailer the first time at the first celebration for The Force Awakens, bro, when I watched the trailer, even like the background, like when you were at this, bro, when they showed
down
that
the corridor,
scene with her walking down the corridor, people snapped.
Yeah, man.
It was so loud because you hadn't seen something like that. And you knew like, yo, there's something about this character that is phenomenal. And I thought that she was just wasted. You know, it was a waste of a good character and where that character could have been. I thought that even going into like the ride or the Last Jedi, that she would get more of an entry because we saw that potentially she could have like a better backstory. Even reading the Phasma novel was incredible because she was a badass in that novel. Yeah. But
the sequels was a waste of a lot of characters. To be honest.
Bro.
Like, I mean, like the common tropes that you hear, and they're true. They didn't have a plan. It was disorganization among directors and producers. You had some you know, great actors and actresses there, but at the end of the trilogy, personally, I didn't care about any of the characters. And I don't think that's Rey's fault, Daisy Ridley's fault, or John Boyega's fault or anything. it's just the mess that they were given. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And it's a bit unfortunate. Like Finn, especially because like the Force Awakens. When I watched the Force Awakens, I was like, okay, they're off to an okay start, and like Finn, they could have, stormtrooper with a conscience. Is he Force sensitive? There's so much they could have done with that, and then it just
because they set it
bizarre.
up that way.
Was he Force sensitive in the Rise of Skywalker?
He could have been. That's my point.
Like, what's going on? I know.
It's
crazy,
like,
isn't it?
I felt like the Force Awakens set up what could have been a fantastic trilogy if The Last Jedi actually went with some of the things that were set up instead of just kind of purposely disassociating from that.
Yeah, definitely.
But you can watch Star Wars Lego and find out a little bit more about Finn.
Yeah, you can. Right. You definitely can. Now, there's another person here who gave me a bear hug from hell. I think my back is still kind of sore from it. But he gave me a bear hug from hell. Probably the most powerful bear hug I have actually gotten from a 6'3", 6'4" individual. And that is my man Rich, who is in the building.
Rich,
yeah. What's up, brothers? How are you?
What's going on with you, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I didn't realize I applied so much pressure.
Bro, I felt like
you all.
I felt like a Fraggle Rock doll after you got done hugging me, bro. It was the most powerful hug in the universe. But how you doing, man?
I give you like half strength as well. I'm sorry. I'm good. You know what? I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but I've had the most random day. Okay, lovely time with my family, all this stuff. We're walking in the park, and bearing in mind I live in a nice area. Suddenly, I hear this woman screaming for help. So I ran to this car where this guy was grabbing this woman and he was holding her back into the car. He was stacked as well. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm with my family. Like, what the hell what have I got myself into? But I just ran towards it. And turns out he was trying to take his sister to rehab. But and she escaped. She escaped.
Oh, wow.
But and I was like, what the fuck? Because I was trying to be, hey Renz. I was like, so I just heard a woman, and he got out of the car, and he looked like he was going to try and kill me. And I told him, I'm there with my family. I just heard someone, and he's looked at the right thing, but I'm gonna have to track her down now. I've lost her, and I'm like, God. Good luck with that. See you later. I've
got that Amy Winehouse song in my head now.
Yeah.
In another
like that. Yeah, a little bit like that. So I'm like, oh my God. So I felt
so
terrible,
he didn't. He wasn't able to find her.
I didn't know afterwards. I just kind of left her to it, but I was just kind of like, because he was literally. She obviously made him stop the car, and then he held her back from getting out of the car. I heard her screaming help. I ran towards it. As any man would, and turns out I shouldn't have done that and should have just left him to it. But
Rich,
but I mean, you're a good person.
Seem very boring.
Man, I'm like incredible. I'm like a family man and stuff. So like, but stuff like that is just so random.
Hey, Shane, we're gonna see like a video later on the news. Rockstar guy saves woman from.
Yeah, but the thing is, you don't know. I don't
you
know
will see a picture of Rich like this on the camera.
So yeah, how's everybody? Good to see you all.
Very good.
Yeah, very good, bro. So good to see you, man. So glad. Wish we could have had more time with you during celebration, but for the time that we did have, it was special. Incredible, bro. It was
special. It was special. It was wonderful. It was so wonderful. Yeah,
it was phenomenal, man.
It meant the world to me, honestly. Like seeing you all in person, and it was just amazing. And just we've all interacted like this, just on streaming or on messages and stuff, and just to actually see each other and just like you said, give each other a hug and stuff and chat and everything. Awesome. And get Austin fired up to start his YouTube journey as well.
Hell yeah.
That was awesome, man. Yeah.
Well, can I also say how appreciative like I am of everyone, because I know I talked to like a few of you kind of beforehand, like, oh, I'm going, hopefully I can say hi to you. Well, that's pretty much like the extent of that, right? And when I went to Celebration, I truly had no game plan in mind. Rich and I were just going to walk around, maybe see one of you, maybe say hi, and like that was going to be it in my head. and then just meeting you guys, and you guys just like, you know, allowing us to continue hanging out with you, and then inviting us to dinner, and then, you know, all that. It was truly, it made celebration for me.
I was just trying to get tips. I'm not gonna lie. I was just trying to get tips. I was trying to figure out how I can get a physique. So I was basically just sitting there studying. I was like, all right, Shane just did 100 clapping push-ups in a club. All right, I got to do that next time.
I was on the Austin Nicholas program. He gave me all the free workout. It was all creatine.
Eating good the entire time. I was impressed.
What, bro? I think I was telling Toy, I was like, yo, we ate every single day. And I was like, but a lot of that was burned off through calories when you're basically walking around like almost the entire time, standing up. It was like I lost, like I came back and I was like expecting like gain all this weight. I came back and I was like, damn, I'm like 4 pounds off of what I normally would be. And I was like, well, how?
I was 10 pounds down. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was just like walking around like everywhere, but it was just mainly insane. But it was crazy how we all met at the TIE Fighter. And that's why I was telling Dan, I was like, Dan, how the hell are you not finding anybody, bro? Like, everybody was everywhere, bro. It was just like, because I think we met up with Ben. Ben, I saw you first. So we were at the TIE Fighter first with everybody. It was Ben and Triple G. We met there first. And then after that, I forget. I think it was Shane I saw first, and then we saw Rich.
Yeah, then you saw me and Ian.
Then we saw Rich. Yeah. So definitely, like, it was that meeting spot there, which I think it was quite impressive with all of us not having like the right precise internet access and how terrible that was.
Yeah,
I think it definitely worked out.
But awesome.
I called it. Ben dressed up as a Jedi. I was life fulfilled at that time. Legend. He dressed up. He was cosplaying as a Jedi. I was like, all right, cool. Because if you wouldn't have cosplayed, bro, I'd have been like, who are you?
If you look very closely in episode 2, there's a fat bald guy at the back.
But nah, man,
that's who I was.
Bro, it was such an amazing time.
And you got to meet Rosario as well, man. That was
God.
Really
a moment.
Well, come on, man. If I'm meeting Rosario, I had to watch number one, she was really interested in Toya. Because when she saw Toya, she was like, you are so beautiful. And I told Toya, I was like, she's going to say something. I said something in me. She's going to say something. And she said something to Toya. And I was like, I told you. Rosario looked at me and was like, what did you tell her? I was like, exactly what you just now said. I told you to say that. But Rosario was so welcoming, bro. She was so warm. Just what you see from her. And then was surprising because I shared that on my timeline and my story. And then she reposted it. And said a couple of things.
Yeah,
cool.
And I was like, yo, but what you see from her is what you get. Like, she is the same person that you see during interviews and stuff like that. And she's not different. Same thing from Hayden. Like, I think that he is just overjoyed at the response that he's getting from Star Wars fans now. And it's like, yo, that is a complete turn. Like, I can't.
Turn. Yeah.
When I think about that, it's a massive turn from what we got from him in the prequels. I'm like, yo, like, people really love him. Like, they really love Anakin now, and they appreciate what he has given us, man. I'm like, that is phenomenal.
That's why I wish Ahmed Best was there. That's
been amazing. Yeah. I have a feeling he's going to be in the finale. By the way, I don't know why, but I think his character is going to be in the finale of Mando.
Flashback.
Who, Ahmed?
I think we're going to have something like that.
You think so?
Yeah, because no,
it wasn't a celebration.
No, it wasn't a celebration.
Right.
No, but
just a video.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a video.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's because there was a bit of a teaser for the finale, and it just showed you stuff throughout the season, and it focused quite a bit on him. And I was like, I wonder if
will that be a flashback though, or will it be here?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. Who knows? But it'd be interesting nonetheless. But yeah. It's gonna be cool. That
would be interesting to see, man.
Did anybody pick up any really good deals while you were at Celebration, by the way?
Well, I did get a chance to FOMO an individual into buying. I did get Shane to buy some pens, so I'm happy about that. He got some fake pens, so I'm definitely.
Oh, nice.
happy about that. And his journey won't stop there. It will be. It's just beginning.
Got me.
Did anyone buy any hot toys?
I did.
Ben did. Ben did.
Okay. What did you get?
I got Master Yoda there.
Oh, cool. Is that Empire Yoda?
Yeah.
It's quite rare, that one.
200 UK pounds.
That's good. That's really
That
good.
is good.
Really good. He's frozen.
Yeah.
That is good.
The prices were pretty.
It was basically the only good deal in the whole place.
Well, I was walking around Celebration trying to find a really nice hilt, and I kept seeing the Emperor one and all this stuff, and they were all stupid amount of money. And then the next day, I told you guys on the group that we're on, and the next day I went to this place in Matlock with my family, and I walked into this vintage toy shop, and they got the master replica Anakin Skywalker one, like the proper one for £150, and then he threw in this as well, which is the thing from the Lenovo, the thing that came out with Lenovo with Force Awakens, I think it was. But it looks really cool, so I'm going to display this in like one of the holder things, and I've got this, and it's amazing. It's the proper one that before I think Hasbro and Disney took over, but I've got a really nice Anakin lightsaber randomly away from Celebration, so
wicked.
It just worked out. Yeah.
Speaking of hot toys, this is kind of a good segue into this really quick. I want to know. With this reveal that we got last week during Celebration, the reveal of we did, of course, the C-3PO and the Vader. I'm interested in think because I didn't really talk to anybody on the panel about this. What are your thoughts about this piece? Is anybody going to pick it up? Do anybody think that they're interested in this piece, considering the simple fact that it is, from the OT trilogy? Anybody planning on picking this up?
Absolutely.
To quote Grogu, yes. This
one and the Kenobi Vader, I'm so ecstatic. I can't wait to have them both in hand because I'm kind of torn. Designs are so different. They both mean very different things to me. Yeah. So right now I'm kind of torn on which one I think visually, just from pictures, is the best. But absolutely getting this.
Yeah. I have the a new Hope Vader, which is a stunning piece. I love OT. I love Return of the Jedi, Empire and Return of the Jedi. The throne room scene anyway is one of the highlights from Star Wars, of the whole Star Wars for me. So if they release an Emperor and a Luke from this, I'm 100% getting this one, definitely. It's amazing. It's amazing.
See, I have the Emperor and I have the Luke already, so this is definitely a no-brainer. And for them to throw in that light-up head sculpt,
that looks amazing. Look at that. That's amazing.
Look at that.
Can I just ask though, because I've got a rule of one figure per character, and I've got the Empire one because that's my favourite scene of any Star Wars movie. It's best been the duel. So when I get Luke, it will be amazing. But is there, obviously, apart from the head sculpt and the light up, feature, what is the difference between this and the Empire one? Are they just going to do the same thing?
Well, the helmet, you'll notice,
slightly different. The dome.
There's a different dynamic and a different, a mold for the actual helmet itself.
Right.
So it definitely is a difference there. I think that this head sculpt, especially right now, getting the Sebastian Shaw head sculpt with the purs eyes rolling technology is phenomenal. I also like the simple fact that we're getting something like this in the way this looks, where there's detail inside of the helmet. I wish that inside would have lit up. Like if we had like a light up feature, that would have been incredible. But for what it's giving us right now, OT all day. And then this, I was impressed. I was so impressed. The only thing is now I'm wondering, because I didn't read the description, is this LED USB?
It's LED, but it's battery, I think.
Oh,
okay. I think so.
Okay.
See, this looks like something that could be a cheap looking gimmick. But pictures look so good.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited to see what it looks like actually in hand via pictures and videos and posting that. What that's going to look like.
Yeah.
I hope they sort the hands out as well. We were talking about this.
Hands are
they just pop off the whole time.
100%.
It's so annoying.
100%.
Honestly, why don't they just do? Because I had the sideshow one years ago, and they have a peg in each one.
Yeah,
and it's just easier.
It's easier. This wrist peg.
I still have that one.
Yeah.
See, I have the Sideshow one. I have the New Hope version, and I also have Empire. You know, and I have the Obi-Wan, you know, on order as well. So this one, I mean, I'm just such a fan of Vader, but this one is just like a no-brainer to actually have in your collection. But yeah, like I agree with you, Dan. Like they need to sort out, because oh my God, I hated that wrist peg situation. Like it is just such a headache.
I think I cried at one point.
It's nearly as bad as the Boba Fett backpack trying to get the thing on.
The patches.
Oh man,
I've got Empire Vader behind us here, and I'm not convinced the wrists are actually in the pegs. I think it's just kind of balance and cunning.
Yeah, mine's exactly the same. You just have to touch it in, and if you move it slightly, it just comes out.
Yeah, but this
got to
is
do that.
definitely a no-brainer. I saw the thing, the one that I got to see. I was like, Ben has to be happy about this one. I don't know how happy he is, but Ben, you had to be. Now, I want, because Ben, that was interesting. How do you feel about this piece? Considering, don't you have C-3PO already?
Yeah, so I've got the Sideshow 3PO and R2 and the Hot Toys BB-8 there. I don't know, you know, because the problem is if I get this 3PO, it potentially will be out of scale with the Sideshow R2.
Yeah.
So that then means I then have to acquire a Hot Toys R2, and that then becomes a whole another kind of thing money wise. So I really love my Sideshow pieces. Like I really do.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of content with them, and I'm a kind of set and forget it type collector anyway. So, you know, the problems that Sideshow ones has doesn't really affect me too much anyway, because it displays fine. So this is absolutely gorgeous, and I think if I didn't, you know, I think people who are obviously trying to have that full Hot Toys original trilogy main characters line, then this is an absolute no-brainer. It's timeless. But for me, I think I just want that Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, that's definitely. Shane, is this something that you think you would get, bro?
Shane's
not here. He's gone.
Out, man, he's gone.
Oh, Shane stepped out.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Shane.
I can't. No, mind you, I can't see because I only got one screen and I'm kind of operating this behind the scenes. But yeah, definitely for me, it's, you know, a piece that I'm going to pick up because it's like, you know, a no-brainer for me. I have to have it, you know, in my collection for right now. His apologies, didn't want to interrupt. He had to step out.
He's gone.
Sorry.
Okay, he said apologies, didn't want to interrupt. Bye. Okay. See you later, Shane. We'll definitely get you on a rerun next week. You know, definitely. But yeah. I gotta have this. Like it's definitely something I gotta have because I've been, you know, because I passed on the Clone Wars version for this because I knew this one was coming. This was the one that I wanted to have in my collection, the definitive 3PO. But if you know, I know that, you know, if they release the, you know, Clone Wars version, I'll be able to get my hands on it. So I'm not really too stressed about that. But you know, definitely.
Do you know what one I'd love? I'd love an episode 1 naked 3PO. With all the wires and everything like that. Episode 1 holds such nostalgia for me that like I would really love that piece.
Another film that I thoroughly enjoyed that got a lot of bad criticism. I loved Episode 1, Phantom Menace, bro. I love that film. You know, I've seen it. I've saw it in theaters 30 times, like literally. God.
Wow.
I went back and saw it because, again, a film that's released that, number one, when Star Wars was just dormant for so many years, I remember like the feeling of when they did the re-release of all 3 films in theaters and then going to see it and just the joy people had when they did that. And then once Phantom Menace dropped, I was like, oh man, Star Wars is back. We can actually go see it. I enjoyed it thoroughly for what it was. Even like the callbacks with the, you know, with the droid, you know, the droids, and then also with the N1 Starfighter, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, good call. Like if they released that figure, now I know they released it, you know, and you know, I know Hasbro had released it years ago, but yeah, but this is definitely something I need to have in my collection. Just kind of completed to have that next to my R2. So yeah,
I actually flew to New York to see the Phantom Menace from the UK because it came out. Wow. It came out a month before in the US.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean,
Wow.
our friend worked for Virgin Airlines, so we were on the standby, so we got it cheap.
Wow,
but we
that's
actually
amazing.
flew to New York and saw it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was
a
10
little-
years old, I'll add, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You know what? Phantom Menace is probably the Star Wars movie that I've watched the most as well. Just 'cause
Really?
it's a fun, easy watch, and I have that nostalgia for it because, like, that's actually what got me into Star Wars. That was the first bit of Star Wars I saw.
Definitely, man. Like I said, it just there's so much from it. I'm happy for. I mean, I think and we touched on this. I am so happy for Ahmed Best that he is getting the love and the support that he deserves right now, especially for everything that he went through. And I was talking about this the other day on Robert Meyer Burnett's show, that if we had the social media that we have right now back then, he probably would have committed suicide, bro.
Yeah,
And
but the
that's
thing is,
part.
it should have. This should be a lesson. What happened to him?
Yeah,
with what's happening in Mando at the moment, with all the characters and the people and the actors and everybody else being attacked, they should look back and see what people were like and how it affects those actors and actresses. They just see it as an opportunity to work to be on Star Wars, if it's bad or not. And I just feel really sorry for them because they are just actors and actresses, and the fandom just gets too much. It gets
to be honest, I think the actors and the actresses are protected a lot more these days than Ahmed Best was. Like, because if you watch that video where he's talking about his journey and stuff,
and Jake Lloyd
he
as
says
well.
he didn't have an agent.
Jake Lloyd,
he didn't have an agent. He didn't have a manager. He didn't have anything in place, to support him.
It was just him
through that.
I don't know if it's like an age thing for me, like seeing it so young, and like once again, that was my first movie, my first experience with Star Wars. So maybe I wasn't jaded, or maybe I didn't have like a certain expectation of what this should feel like, or anything else. I was never bothered by Jar Jar.
Oh, I mean, I was 10 years old, so fart jokes were like right up my street. Like,
I was like still I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, and that's perfect. That's what George aimed it towards, wasn't it?
Exactly.
George aimed it towards
it's like
kids,
the Ewoks, they were there for kids. Jar Jar
and to sell toys.
So we can't forget the merchandise.
And I bought them.
Yeah, which I've still got all in the loft, which is worth nothing. I've got so many Phantom Menace figures all boxed up, like in bubble wrap.
To rock and stock and everything, yeah.
Worth nothing.
Oh, bad investment.
Okay, would you guys buy a 6-scale Jar Jar if it came out?
Oh, no,
100%
no. Oh, I'd buy 5.
Oh my god, fucking!
Yeah, I would absolutely buy one. Yeah,
I think it would probably do all right.
Yeah, we probably would. Yeah, I think
also,
there is a. He's off. There's always because obviously with you guys obviously being younger, you guys saw it when that hit the right age for you guys. But for like myself, I was a lot older. So after I'd seen Empire, Return of the Jedi, I've seen New Hope, and that was Star Wars to me. And then there's this kiddie, cartoony character with a silly voice being on. It was like, whoa, what's this? So it's just.
But it'll all come full circle again because the everyone who was a child watching The Force Awakens will look at that sequel trilogy as their trilogy. So when they turn,
that's what happened with the Clone Wars.
When they turn, 20 to 30 years old, they'll look at it.
Do you think we'll ever see Jar Jar in live action again?
Well, he took the Keller and Beck. It took the Naboo starship and said, well, "I'm taking you to a friend." So
you think they'll redeem him in some way of like?
I don't know.
They might kill him. They might he might arrive there and dead or something. Like
imagine if he turns up at the end of episode, whatever it is, the next episode of Mando, and he just rocks up like he's here to rescue us, and you think it's Luke again, and it's Jar Jar.
Oh,
people gonna die.
He's at the funeral of Padme, which I think is
that could be right.
Well, see, the thing is, it's like. People, because I've heard this in theory, like everybody, talking about, well, the blame is on Jar Jar for giving the executive order to create the clone or to, give power to the Emperor at that point. And we see that he's only doing what was basically provided to him, what was given to him, the authority that was given to him at that particular point. granted, if he never did that, you know, then there would have been no clone army to even save the remaining Jedi that we actually had, you know, at that point. But again, I think that with Jar Jar, there is a lot of love for that character from a lot of people. A lot of people love, you know, that, you know, back then even saw the character, despite of some of the grievances that we get from a lot of people, there are people who love that character still. So I'm like, you know what? It's always a place for every character. Again, like you said, man, there's people, it's a full turn, like people who grew up watching those, just like back in 77, you know, I was in the theaters first go 1977 to see Star Wars for the very first time. And that's, you know, pretty much I've gained an appreciation for that. But growing throughout the years, I've gained an appreciation for all of Star Wars and for what it presents, because we're still getting content, you know. And this is why I say that when there's constant, like, we can have the discussion and we can talk about things from a very constructive standpoint. We can say that there are things that we didn't like that we wish that we can get more of, and it pushes the needle forward. But it's the hatred that shrinks the universe. And if you do that, the more hatred that we get from a lot of people who I don't think are much Star Wars fans as they want to believe themselves to be. And I'm not going to say that because they're passionate, but I think that sometimes your passion can kind of overrule everything. You know what I mean? So if
I
that
think
passion,
the same could be said though for seeing the positive side on maybe not great content. I think that can be also people Rich. Can be no. I'm saying that it can be reversed. It can be that people can be overly critical, and all people can be overly positive about something where maybe it might not be the best.
Oh, Rich, I've done that several times. I've bought into the hype of watching a movie and coming out of the theater, absolutely loving it, and then like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, it kind of simmers a bit, and I'm like, well, you know what? I don't know if I actually loved it as much as I thought.
I think there's hype, and I think there's love for the property and the IP. I mean, for prime example, the Boba Fett show. At the time, everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" There were some really, really good moments and really good parts in it, and the best bit of it was the last two. And I have a feeling that's going to happen again with Mando. The last two episodes are going to be brilliant, and everyone's going to forget about some of the very.
Only got one.
Yeah, so I'm saying, but the one that's just happened was good. So that was the last two. So it was the last one, and then the next one are the last two episodes. The same with Boba Fett, and I just think that maybe the problem is that with the way that some of the series is constructed, I feel they should have had a Bo-Katan series on her own. I think she'd have had her own thing. I think she would have been more in the shining light, and Mando could have gone back to the Western kind of way that he was. I think it was too early to give him back Grogu as well. I think we could have had a whole series of him not having Grogu at all. I would have loved that. But
it also takes away the last episode of the season 2 Mandalorian, that emotion of Grogu leaving, and then all of a sudden he's back with him straight away.
It's back to him again. Yeah.
Merchandising, money, residual gain. That's what basically brings it in. Here, the thing is, it's a side for everybody, because the thing is, it's like, look, you can have constructive criticism about the things that you don't like, and you can vocalize that and still have a space. You can be a person who really thoroughly enjoyed it, and there are a lot of people out there who thoroughly, despite of the simple fact that there might be some shortcomings, if they enjoy Star Wars for what it is, they can overlook those things. It doesn't mean that their positivity is subjective or it has to be questioned. No, I don't think it's that way. I just believe that they basically have a space. There's a space for both, and where both can agree. There is no space for ignorance. There is no space for individuals to attack in death threats and to really demean and call somebody out their name. Like, there's no space for that. I don't care. In any IP, there is no space for that, because it's very disruptive.
There's bigger things in the world happening when
it's way bigger things. And the reason why I say that this shrinks the universe is because of the simple fact that you have a lot of people, a lot of stars, a lot of directors, writers who have potential to give us great content. But when asked if they would do so, they're like, oh no, have you seen Star Wars fans? No, I'm good. And they'll stray away from it. You know what I mean? And that's the terrible thing about it, is that we're shrinking the community more when we do stuff like that. You know what
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean? So I'm
Marvel's
just hoping
getting
for
like
the
that as
best.
well.
Yeah, Marvel is really getting like that, bro.
Really, yeah.
It's really getting that way in Marvel, bro. Like it's so bad right now. Like right now, there's a campaign of people going around with this rumor mill that Jonathan, is going to get recast as, there's going to be a recasting, and I'm like, yo, where are you getting this from?
No. By the way, I started watching Creed 3 last night. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. He's unbelievable, right? I've only seen about half an hour of it so far.
I saw it this week.
You can tell he's an actor of training.
He's jacked in that, man.
He's out acting everybody on screen.
Yeah.
He's at a different level.
I agree with you completely. So Creed 3 for me was my least favorite of that trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors, absolutely
amazing actor.
I wanted more of
Brando-esque is just so good. So good.
Yeah,
so good.
definitely it did, man.
Yeah.
But
both
other
of them
than
were
that,
jacked, though, weren't they?
Oh
yeah, God.
Massive,
So he also has that movie on Netflix, The Harder They Fall, which is fantastic as well.
Oh, really?
It is good.
Yeah.
It is good with Idris. Yeah, that's really good.
He's jacked also for this movie that he's supposed to be in, where he's he's a bodybuilder for I forget what it's called. I forget the name of it.
It's out later on this year.
So he got really super jacked for that. So I'm like, yo, this dude is huge, like just really solid and big. But
also just going off of what Rich said about him being like really good in the movie, Michael B. Jordan has a lot of swag, a lot of charisma. Didn't even touch Majors. Anytime Majors was on the screen with him, I just completely zoned away from my movie.
It was just that good. And you can tell that's why he's going to be aimed to be the next big star. But I just hope this situation with his missus gets. That's it. Magazine Dreams. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Brandon.
Yeah,
appreciate that, bro. Magazine Dreams, definitely. And I hope, for his sake, look, if he done it, justice will be served the way it needs to be. And I'm hoping that happens, because no way, shape, or form should you be any man should put your hands on a woman. I don't give a damn how bad the situation is. Don't ever do that. That should never be.
And remember, you might have a 6'4", 260-pound man running towards you, and you hear a woman screaming. Think again.
Yeah, definitely, man. But again, if in fact he is innocent, then they need to let it go. They just need to let it go, and we need to move forward and let.
How long do you think Disney will wait, though, Leo? Because they've got to move on with this.
Yeah.
So how long are they going to wait? They're going to have to make a decision, aren't they?
Well, his DA has said he's got all this evidence, but they've still got these charges against him.
But they still got the charges, and the charges haven't been dropped yet. So it's just waiting to see when that is going to happen.
The bad thing about New York, don't they, like, the reason why he actually was arrested, because like they actually have to, like, in the state of New York, once there actually is a complaint, as the complaint was, they actually had to arrest. Which is a very weird. I don't know. I'm not really for that within itself, and I don't want to go on a tangent or anything.
Like, they have to charge them. And what notably, honestly, if by law though, if there is a spat between both, then both should have been arrested.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's off of her mental sanity, that they're looking at. So that's why he was charged based on the call that was made. So it's crazy.
When's Loki season 2 due out? Because I'm wondering if DC if
soon.
Soon. I wonder if they'll knock it back or something.
Well, I think so. I think what's the name is first. So Secret Invasions is first. And then Loki is after that one. So I don't.
September time, I reckon it'll be, because I think it's about June, July time for Secret Invasion. Yeah, which looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. Really? And from the rumors that I'm things that I'm not rumors, because I was talking. Well, see, Robert Meyer Burnett read the script. He has the script, so he's actually read the entire script. Oh, wow. He didn't tell me, because I told him not to tell me anything. The only thing he told me was, listen, every figure that you actually have from that anything that you have Marvel figure wise, after seeing this show, you're going to want to rethink some things. That's all he said. He said, because there's a lot that's going on.
Everyone is a Skrull.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone.
He said you're going to want to rethink some things, but he said it is definitely a good show. It's going to be a great show from what we've seen so far. The espionage. I hope it
They
gives
need
me that
it.
Winter Soldier
Marvel need
feel.
it. It needs a
They
good show.
do. They do. They
To have
need
the
it.
same impact of the comic book, they need some big name scrolls to be announced, don't they?
Bro.
To have the same level of impact, we need some big
Spider
heavy
Woman
hitters.
was the big like shocker, wasn't it? At the
Exactly,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Thor as well, I think.
Jessica
Wasn't
Drew.
Thor?
Yeah,
I'm
we
not sure.
needed to have that, bro. Yup. Yeah, we need to have that. We better have a damn. If you don't give me a Super Scroll, bro, give me one, at least one. I need to see that. But yeah, the book itself was so interesting and so incredible. But I know like that translation into like a show or film form is they're not going to do that. But at least give us some essence from it, and I would love that because even like now, from what I'm hearing, they're even going to explain how he really got that scratch on his eye. Like they're going to really explain that, and there's a reason. Yeah, so I think there's going to be
quite
some
like the
sort
goose
of
thing.
yeah, but I think there's going to be, but there's, and I didn't think about it was with the goose thing, he did get attacked and he got scratched. Was it because at that time that Goose knew he was a Skrull?
Good shout. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot that kind of goes into it. So I
Goose
don't know.
knows.
We'll see.
Goose
knows. Exactly. So we'll definitely see, since we're going to see Goose also in the Marvels, which I'm excited about that film.
That looked pretty good, that trailer.
Right, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
Vellani's going to steal the show, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like that's what it's centered around.
Dan, it's really good.
Is it good? Is it worth watching?
It's good.
Joyful. It's a joyful
bro.
show.
It's about heart. It's about family. Everything about that show is phenomenal, bro. Like it is. It is definitely one of those things that it was a sneaky hit. Like you didn't think that it was going to be as good as it was. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but that good, it was incredible. I really loved it. It was definitely a really So watching it, like I would watch it, because there's a lot of history, a lot of things behind that show that was really good and touching. And I love the family dynamic. I really love the family dynamic. It was amazing, bro.
Can't wait to see that back in the film as well.
But anyway, guys, it's been a great show. Rich, did you want to say anything? Anything that you had to say, bro?
Oh, sorry, my wife was giving me a beer.
Word.
Sorry. Cheers, everyone.
Hey, good wife, good service.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but definitely it's been a great show. It's so good to have all you guys again. I mean, we have to do this again. We definitely have to do this one more time or just a couple more times, as many times. Anytime you want to come on International Collectors Lounge International, you are always welcome. You have a home here. At any given time. Congratulations to Austin on 100. Looks like he have like 102 so far going in. Congratulations on the venture with finally getting to y'all. I remember sitting down talking to your girl during celebration. She's like, we're going to get him in it. I'm trying to get him in. You guys need to talk him into it. I was like, he's going to do it. We don't have to say anything. He's going to do it. Like it's just a no-brainer.
And then watch him overtake us all like in a week.
Yeah, right?
I doubt that'll happen. But
he's done one short and he's got more than anybody else.
Yeah, right?
I love. I got two shorts on there now.
Steady on.
You know what? Yeah. I got a backlog of like 50 shorts right now that I'm going to sprinkle in over time. So I'm kind of prepared on that point. But Lael, Rich, just everybody who's been so great to me about talking to me and making me feel a bit more confident at starting the channel. Then of course Rachel being the girlfriend and so supportive and pushing me to do this. I just
she's a great woman, and you got you there. Honestly, she was really nice. Definitely. She was really positive energy and really
bro.
Honestly, she's great for you. So I know you know that anyway, but I'm just saying generally it's just.
She also gives me the impression she does not take any shit.
No, she don't.
No,
and I like that. I like that.
Bro, that night that we went to the club. We were out and we went out to the club and we were going from one club. We were about to go to another one, and Austin was like, "Yeah, let's go in." She turned around, bro, and it was like Blade. The camera got on her. She was like, "We are going now," and I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Wow. I just say yes, ma'am, at times.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Let's go. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
Because she's kind of like Calvin. She's a bit more introvert. That social battery gets drained quite a bit more. So
yeah, she was so amazing, bro. So it was good to actually
she loved you all. She loved you
all.
all.
My God, she was such amazing. So amazing. Triple G, what you got coming up next, man? What can we see from you guys?
Yeah, so I do roughly 1 6-scale figure unboxing a week, and I've got a comic video a week, and I've got my my live show every Monday. We do a different kind of live show every Monday. So this Monday, I've got Ben hosting, and we're doing a geeky art attack where we're challenging people to draw things from the Teenage Mutant Ninja universe.
Word.
I did a warm up today for it.
Yes.
Word.
That's really good.
Nice.
Damn, Ben.
Examples.
Okay, Ben, you got some skills that you've been
He's got some
hiding.
skills. Yeah.
Look,
Son of a bitch.
he's been wanting to show that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was waiting to do it. Like he was waiting.
He's the new Rens Talentino. Just to call
Yeah.
it now.
Oh, can you imagine? No
Imagine that.
He was
I wish
waiting
I
to
had
do that.
done
He
that.
had that in the tuck. As soon as you
Yeah,
mentioned,
he
he's
did
like,
that, yeah.
well, see, if you would
He has what I
observe
prepared
how I
earlier.
basically
Yeah.
carefully structured this.
Gives people a
And-
flavour of the show, you know. Head on
I
over
like
to Triple
it.
G
Like
Comics
it.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
8 PM. See you there.
Definitely make sure that you head over. The link actually to the channel is also in the description below. So make sure that if you haven't already, click on that link and subscribe. Thank you for being here, bro. Appreciate that, man. As always. Rich, what's going on with you, you tea drinking son of a bitch?
Coffee and a beer. That's how I roll. No uppers and the downers.
Right.
I'm kidding. So I posted a vlog the day after celebration, which I'm really genuinely proud of, and I think I'm going to start doing that more of, because simply I like just talking to the camera and not just be sat behind a desk. So I really like that side to it. So we're doing more vlogs, more collecting vlogs, more where I've picked up stuff and I've got a bit of a story behind. So, like, for example, there we go. This is the Anakin that I picked up really cheap, and the story behind that. I might start doing a few more things like that. And also, and we're doing more movie news, more focus on that than 1/6 scale. But hopefully when I've got more stuff coming in, I'll start doing more videos of them. But yeah, just people can subscribe. I'm on 508 subscribers now, so I've shot up a bit since the vlog, and I really appreciate the people's support. So if you can start spreading the word, I really appreciate it, and follow me on IG as well.
And that celebration vlog was so well done.
Yeah,
thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I was really proud of it. It like, genuinely, if I could press delete on the rest of my stuff and start from that one vlog, then I would love that, but I can't. So yeah, now I'm really proud of it. So I think it's the way forward for me, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me,
coming through, man, as always, and being here. Dan, what you got coming up, man?
I'm similar to you guys. My channel's only just started like last month, so I'm on a couple of hundred, so that's not too bad. I haven't got loads coming in actually. I've got a tank trooper, a dark trooper coming in this week, so I'll probably do a little sort of, not review because there's so many out there, but like videos in the collection, in the module cases and all that.
Yeah,
and just still waiting for my in-art Joker. Still,
you me both.
I know. Yeah. So I contacted Kit this week, and I think I'm probably about another 300 behind at the moment. So I reckon it's going to be another month.
Man.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my Prize Wonderland. So
yeah.
That's insane.
But all good. Just been catching up with all your videos and everyone's videos this week. So I'll be in the background watching everything. So
appreciate it, man. Thank
it's
you.
Nice to meet you down for the first time.
And you, mate.
Definitely. It has been.
Yeah, it's been great. Really good.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. Thank you for being here with us. Again, description in the low, and the links to the channels always in below the channel. So in the description. So make sure you subscribe. And last but not least, Attention Seeker Geek. Ben, what's going on with you, bro? What can we expect coming up from you, man?
So a couple of new shorts are up at the moment. So I got my Hot Toys Yoda showcase, Bowser by Tato showcase.
I really love that setup. It looks so good.
Oh, thanks, dude.
It looks really nice.
I've kind of gone down a new like little collecting avenue with on card, like mint on card retro nostalgia fueled collecting. So I did a little showcase video on that this morning as well, and what I've got so far. I've got my vlog as well for Star Wars Celebration. I'm not as handsome or as charming as Rich, but there's an alternative there if you want to watch mine as well. I'm on the road to 900. So
yes,
yeah. Thanks. Don't clap because it's taken forever. But that's very exciting. And my show, It's Not That Bad, is coming back on the 25th of April. So It's Not That Bad is basically a live show where I invite a guest to come on and defend a film that they love, but generally people think is a bit rubbish.
That's a great idea, mate.
So
I love
the
that.
first show of this kind of second season, I guess, is going to be on the 25th. It's with what do they call themselves? My pal Bucky, I think, on Instagram, and they will be defending Fantastic Four, the Josh Trank Fantastic Four film.
Mate, no one's come on and defended Jaws of Revenge, have they? Surely.
No, I like that. I like that.
I'm not one of those. I'm just saying.
So yeah, if anyone has a doozy that they want to come and celebrate, then send me.
I'm going to defend. You know what? I'll probably be one to come on your show to defend the Multiverse of Madness. I am going to defend.
I think I'm busy that weekend.
I am going to defend the Multiverse of Madness.
Just put him on mute the whole time.
Definitely, I will be there to defend that. But thank you so much, man, and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
And coming on. It's been such a great show. And you guys, thank you all out there for being a part of this. Again, Star Wars Celebration was the highlight of the year for me, and just meeting everybody and being able to have a chat, spend time with these guys was phenomenal. Star Wars Celebration Japan, that's a lot to think about for a lot of people out there. If you want to go, just think about that. That is coming up. It could be just basically another avenue and another adventure. So always remember that it's always a meeting point. It's not always just about the event itself, but it's the people you meet and the journeys that you go on with them, and that's always a plus there. So definitely think about that. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to the 16 Scale Man YouTube channel, make sure that you do hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already on this video. What we got coming up next tomorrow, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to do comic book talk with friends. That might be on a hiatus for a while until I kind of get a lot of things in order. We will have Say What Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Also on Thursday, we're going to do Uncivilized Scoundrels on Mario's channel, and as a matter of fact, Tuesday night, I'm going to be doing a prediction show for the Mando. So I'm thinking about doing a watch party for it. I don't know yet, but we're going to I'm going to do a prediction show on Mando this Tuesday night. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be around 9 or 10ish or something like that. So stay tuned for that. Just live show, just to kind of talk about it, everything that we got up until this particular point. So I'm just going to be excited to talk about that, everything Star Wars that night. Uncivilized Scoundrels on Thursday night on Mario's channel, and then of course Figure Flex Friday, where we get a chance to actually see people flex those figures. So make sure you stop through on that, and then back next week for another episode of Collectors Lounge International. Again, thank you guys for being here. It's been a great show. Everybody out there, have a good rest of your day. I know I will. Me and Toya will probably go to Target, because that's like one of our favorite places to go is Target. Not when we spend money, but just to go have a coffee and just, watch everybody do whatever. We might do that, but who knows? Anyway, thank you guys for being here. And yes, Rich did break my back and he's a rock star. We are out.